Morning. What's up, Brad? How do I get that check mark by my name like Brad? That looks real nice there. I appreciate it, man. Rangers having a tough start to the year. Happy Friday. Morning. Friday. Excited. I'm excited. Star is better. I like the star also. Yeah, futures say green, but that don't mean nothing. That's the problem. Futures green does not mean anything, unfortunately. Meta rejection again, maybe. I'll watch it. We caught it yesterday nicely. So good morning, guys. Just wait a little bit, hang out until some more people jump in. Good morning once again. Yeah, I mean, I don't have high hopes for the Giants beating the Eagles this weekend, Jacob. I hope that we just at least show that we can play. That's all I need. And I hope that who's Washington play. If I can just get Dallas and Washington to lose. Let's see here. Cowboys are not going to lose to the Texans, so that's not good. And Washington is on a bye. And then we'd play them again next week. Yeah, so we just need to beat out Washington. That's probably our goal. And then we got the Colts, we got the Vikings, and then we got the Eagles to end the season again. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. Thanks, Brad. Brad's the hype man today. All right, so today is Friday. Very happy about that. We have some World Cup action, which is exciting. We have, do I use brackets orders? No, I do not use bracket orders. I just use market orders. We have PPI data, producer price index at 8:30 a.m. That is in about 27 minutes. So we will see that live here on the stream. That is definitely going to be important today. It may not react as large as a CPI reading, but it will definitely give us insight into next week's move. It will give us insight into what the potential move is on CPI. So we will see. We'll sort of look at the expectations for that today, get an idea of what to look for. We have some other economic data as well. We have inflation expectations, I believe, and what do we have? We have 5-year inflation expectations and consumer sentiment as well. So we have some pretty important economic data today. This is, the start to the bigger move, I think, the start to the bigger economic data next week. We have CPI next week and Jerome Powell speaking, so that's going to be big. So we shall see what today brings. Some important levels on the futures were broken to the upside yesterday. We broke that 11.6 level on the NASDAQ. We turned it into support. That was very key. But I am looking at these as a very short-term look, right? I'm looking at these levels as a short-term play. The upside over the last day, yesterday, was good, but it was not enough to make me think that we can just ignore economic data, right? So we take what we can get. We take the upside when we can get it, but we do not overexpose ourselves into economic data, right? That's the biggest thing. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens today. That's going to be big, but let's get the stream started. Let's start looking at what we need to watch. So I held off on the technicals. You guys probably saw that in the Discord. I'm just going to hold off from doing posting those technicals in there until after the live stream. We have, big economic data today at 8:30, so no reason to do that analysis twice. So we'll look at it here live, and then I'll post what I'm looking at there in the Discord later today. Futures, economic earnings calendar. So that's the big thing. Economic earnings. We did have Lulu and Costco. I think Lulu dropped. Costco is pretty much flat. I think slightly down. But nothing really major over there. It's really all about this. So today is right here. Producer price index, consumer sentiment, and 5-year inflation expectations. That is the big, those are the big three today. So today in the pre-market, we'll be live for this producer price index. Let me go ahead and pop up real quick theinvesting.com expectations for us to look at. We'll look at month over month, and we'll look at, let me also pull up the year over year. Okay. So here is month over month on PPI. This is what is expected on PPI. So right here, guys, you guys can see we have the expectation for this time. This is December 9th. This is today. We have a expectation, a forecast of 0.2, right? So the previous was 0.2 month over month. So they are forecasting it to be the same, right? So as long as we get, the same, if we get the same as the last reading in November 15th, PPI 0.2, then I would expect things to stay up, maybe sideways, but definitely I wouldn't expect us to drop on a forecast that is the same, right? If it's 0.2, the same as forecast, same as previous, it could be considered a little bit bearish because you probably want to see a lower reading, but we'll see what happens. And you can they actually do a pretty good job here. A higher than expected reading should be taken as positive or bullish for the US dollar. And we want the US dollar to go down, right? A lower than expected reading should be taken as bearish for the US dollar. So if you want the market to go up, you probably want to see the US dollar cool off. And so you're looking for a lower than expected reading. That would be the bullish case today, in my opinion. So 0.2 month over month. If we go to the year over year, you guys can see right here. A lot of ads on this website. Jeez. The year over year forecast dropped quite a bit. So this is interesting here. So the forecast here is 7.2, where the actual reading last reading was 8%. So they're forecasting for a 0.8% drop. That's a big drop, right? That's a very big drop. That's bigger than almost all the recent drops, maybe besides this one right here. This was 0.9. So they're expecting a pretty decent drop here on the PPI year over year. 7.2 forecast. Previous was 8. So they're they're forecasting a 0.8% drop here on PPI year over year. That I don't know. Maybe that's aggressive. Maybe it's not. But that's what we need to look for. What is it year over year? That's going to be important here today. Here's the recent trend. You can see the recent trend has been declining. So you will be looking for, again, another decline in the trend. 7.2 is what the expectation is. All right. So that's that. That is what we'll look at in about 20 minutes. See what that sort of shows us. Tesla, channel low. We'll take a look at that one today. Netflix, big upgrade. Very bullish on Netflix. I mean, I don't know. Current market conditions, I can't get overly bullish, but I am definitely continuing to load up the shares on Netflix. Happy to see that upgrade today. It is up. It's outperforming today, up about $8 in the pre-market. So pretty big push in the pre-market. We'll see if that continues. Meta, it did get an upgrade today also. Meta 117 rejection. We talked about that on the stream yesterday. I'll review that trade and I'll show you how that's still possibly there. NVIDIA strength yesterday. NVIDIA did not care about the market yesterday. NVIDIA went up all day. Very strong move. That's another good one for me. So happy to see that. We'll also take a look at TSM, AMD. Home Depot, watching this 316 hold. Shopify has pulled back, but it is holding this interesting uptrend. Obviously, this is going to depend on what the market does today, but an interesting uptrend hold on Shopify. And then finally, I want to just make sure you guys are watching XLV. The healthcare sector is on one. UNH, AbbVie, everything healthcare has been crazy hot, and I figured I would make sure you guys are aware of that today. So that's what we got. We'll do some futures analysis, but of course we're going to have to relook at everything in 20 minutes. So I sort of hate these live streams where I have, like, right in the middle of the live stream, we have economic data. So we'll look at some stuff. We'll get a preliminary look at some of these levels, and then we're going to have to see what PPI does today. So let's get started here. NASDAQ. So here's a NASDAQ, right? What we did over the last few days is pretty much what I expected. We talked about this in my Tuesday video. We sort of just chopped, right? We went a little higher, maybe a little dead cat bounce, depending on what happens today. But we held that little demand down there. We held that channel low, and we basically just chopped. If we zoom out, we held this 11,450. It was actually the 50 SMA. So if I go to the daily SMAs, if I pop on the 50, you will see that it was right around that 50, right, is where we held up right here, around that 400, 450 area, right? Market dropped, held that area, demand stepped in, and we just have a little, it's really nothing substantial, right? We have a little bounce over, 1 or 2 days, nothing crazy, nothing that's going to, this is not because we know that CPI is going to be bullish now, right? That's not why, right? Don't let a move like this make you think, oh, CPI is going to be bullish now. Now, it could be, But this move yesterday is not the reason that you are right. If you're now bullish on PPI and CPI because of yesterday's move, that's not why it goes up. If it goes up, it just goes up because it's lower than expected. It's not because we had a little dead cat bounce on a one-day move. So let's not get too crazy because of this little pop here. It's nothing in relation to what's been going on. It's just another move within the channel, and we're gonna have to still watch to see what happens today and on Tuesday of next week on PPI and CPI. So a little bit of a push yesterday. It was actually a pretty nice structured push, and I'll show you guys that on the 1 minute chart. Actually, you know what? I'll go 5 minute. It was actually a pretty structured push and made a lot of sense. And this is what made trading yesterday actually quite nice. Here's the reason, and early morning at least. So you guys know coming into yesterday, we were watching the 11.6 level. That was like on everyone's eyes, 11.6, 11.6, watch 11.6. Why? Because you had rejections here, you had rejections on Wednesday, and you had that rejection early morning, right? We were in the live stream talking about 11.6, saying watch out for that 11.6 level, right? We were talking about that right as we got that, what was it? Jobless claims, right? We got the jobless claims. I remember us in the stream saying watch out, and we actually rejected that level very nicely, right? Jobless claims pushed up into 11.6, rejected it early morning, and we got that push. Now, the level that changed the day, the important level intraday, the shift intraday that happened was the 11.6 hold, the break and retest of 11.6. So that happened right here, right around this 10 o'clock time yesterday. If we go to the 1 minute chart, we'll zoom into this 1 minute. This was the important move yesterday. And you guys can see we had a pre-market high here, 11.6. We had that previous rejection point at 11.6. We broke it, right? We pulled back to it, and we held it. This was sort of that moment yesterday where I turned bullish and looked for that upside trade on Tesla. This was it, right? This is everything that I was waiting for to try to be bullish. Now, I didn't take any calls on this upside, right? I was saying in the chat, do not trade calls until we get a clear hold of 11.6 because this could have easily done this. All right, so we have to wait for that confirmation. So we did get that pop. We got above 11.6. We held it as support, and we got that little push to the upside. Now, we did get the push to the upside, right? But it was nothing crazy. We sort of just made that next channel higher. When you can see all day, the rest of the day, we held on to 11.6. So 11.6, 11.6. We turned that previous resistance point into support yesterday. So that was very nice. That was a nice stair step. Made a lot of sense. And then this morning, you can start to see a very similar thing happening, right? You can see yesterday's highs, which was around this 670, 680, has now turned into a support, right? Right here, right? Look at this support that's stepping in at the previous day highs. So you're getting a nice stair step here, in the short term, right? It's nice for short-term trading, but I can't, I'm not going to now be taking bullish swing trades because of this. With economic data coming out. So as of now, those were some nice moves yesterday, nice, sort of structured moves to the upside. I'm going to be watching probably this area here around 11.8, 11.780 today. You guys can see we had some previous lows here, previous low here, previous low here, and a previous low here, right? That's going to be our next level to watch out for. We got to be careful of this rejection point up here around 11.780, 11.8, right? That's our next level right there. I'm not sure whether we have some. Let me check the daily SMAs here. We got anything? Okay, so we do have the 200. We have the 20 SMA. You guys can see right here. We have these previous lows and the 20 SMA up here. This is probably going to be a heavy area, right? So watch this 11.760, 11.8 area. That's going to be our next level to watch out for on this Nasdaq market. If we can break that level, if PPI is bullish, then maybe we continue higher, but that would be my next level to watch, okay? I'm not going to go too in-depth here on the levels because we're going to be looking at them again after PPI, but let me just, sort of let you know, right? We did get the demand bounce we talked about. We talked about how we'll probably get a little bounce. We'll chop around. We'll kill off the short-term puts. We'll wait until CPI or PPI. But this move yesterday is nothing to make you. It's not something that should make you, know what's happening next. It's just a little bit of a dead cat bounce, short-term trading opportunity. We have to see what happens on the data. ES, pretty much the same exact thing, right? So ES, let me go ahead and delete these daily SMAs. They're a little bit messy. So you guys can see right here, pretty much the same thing, right? All we did was we held the demand, previous highs, right here, 39.20. That's all we did, right? We had the previous highs here, which was a previous support right here, and we held it as support again. So very nice structured move, structured hold. That was sort of expected. If we go to the 5-minute chart, you guys can see we pretty much did the same thing where we just sort of stair-stepped higher yesterday. So we had a previous high here around this 39.55, 39.60. We broke it. We turned it into support all day yesterday. We sort of held that level, moved higher. And then today, we're sort of holding yesterday's highs. So we're just sort of stair-stepping here, right? You can see previous highs into support, previous highs into support in the pre-market. Nothing that's, big, nothing that's, long-term biased, but it's a little short-term trading opportunity. If I go to the hourly chart, here's what I'm going to be watching. It's right here at these previous lows, right around this 4,000 area, right? That's my next level to watch. Previous lows, 4,000. And I also think you have the 20 SMA there as well. Let me go ahead and get that on there. So yeah, 20 SMA on the daily chart right there at 4,000. Previous lows right there at 4,000. So that's going to be your next level to watch here at 4,000. Okay. We'll relook at this again after PPI, but that for now, that's sort of what happened yesterday. We just sort of stair-stepped to the upside in the short term. Dow Jones, 20 SMA is there as well. And you guys can see the Dow simply just held the channel low. That's all it did, right? Channel low, 33,500, held it again, sort of pushed off of it, just channeling still, no clear direction. We're stuck sideways until CPI, PPI. Oh, bear case is just a break of all these holds, right? Gold, it's just a break of all this, right? If we break that, it's pretty quickly going to unravel, I would assume, right? If we break 39.20, if we break this channel low, right, you're giving up this CPI move. I'm not giving any levels here because we have data in 10 minutes, so no reason to give levels right now. 11.6, right? We're just these lows. That's it. If you break these lows, you're done. I'm not going to say done. I don't want to be that aggressive, but yeah, if you break these consolidations, then, right, it's pretty. You break that on the Dow, you break that on the ES, you break that on the NASDAQ, it's all the same. You break this channel, it's all the same. All right, so back to the Dow, you can see 33,450. We held that, right? If we break that downside, you can see we have a little dead cat bounce off of it. You're in between a channel. Let's wait for the data. We'll relook at it. Russell, in the middle of a channel, I would just watch for the rejection here at 1840, right? 1840, watch the rejection right there. Okay, watch the rejection there. Support down at 1770. You're in the middle of a channel. We got to wait for the data. 10 minutes. We'll obviously relook at the futures there, guys. I know it's a little. I didn't really get too in depth there, but no reason to when we have market moving data potentially in 10 minutes. So Tesla. Well, I guess we'll go over this real quick. You guys can see right here, Tesla has been channeling. We talked about the channel low yesterday. A little bit of a pop off of it. Nothing crazy. Nothing that I would be too over excited about. But right, you guys can see we are at the channel low. So if there is a situation where the market moves higher into end of week or into next week, right, you could possibly try to trade this channel, right? There's nothing wrong with that. We've seen channel trading happen across the market everywhere else. So let's look to see, does Tesla try to hold this 170 area, previous low? Maybe this is just a channel trade. Maybe you can find yourself a little bit of a push, right, on the bottom side of this channel, and then maybe you can sell it once again back to 200. If Tesla breaks this channel low, right, on negative data for the market, then obviously, right, you're going to see that drop, right? If you drop this low, all right, if you start breaking under this 165, then obviously that's going to sort of signal, it's sort of like what happened here, right? We had a channel here, right? You can see we had a channel here. We broke the low. We sort of channeled down, right? Moved lower. You could see that same thing. New low and then create another channel. Very possible. So that's going to obviously depend on the data today, next week, but watch that low, that 165, 167, that area on Tesla. In there, if there's a case where we are bullish, then watch for that channel low hold. Very possible to be maybe a short-term trading opportunity. Netflix. So Netflix got an upgrade today from Wells Fargo. Price target raised to 400. So pretty bullish for Netflix. I mean, if I ignore all the short-term stuff, I'm very bullish on Netflix long-term. Netflix, I just don't think anyone competes with the content that they put out. So I am bullish on Netflix long-term. I like this little push to the upside today, but the thing you got to be careful of here is the gap fill, right? The gap fill is still there. So let me go to the daily chart. The gap fill will most likely cause a rejection, right? So watch out for that right here. You guys can see that previous low, this little double bottom low, is at 330. That will most likely cause a short-term rejection. It almost always does. So just watch that 330. If Netflix starts to get into 330, just be careful of that possible rejection. It's a gap close reversal, right? It's a gap close and a reversal. So you might get that push into 330, but you'll probably see some resistance up here, right, after it closes that gap. So just be cautious of that. 330 on Netflix. Good, nice upgrade today. If the market goes higher today, if we get strength today, then I would watch Netflix to outperform, right? It's the outperformer right now. Meta, awesome 117 rejection yesterday, right? Look how clean this was. So if I go to the 30-minute chart, you guys can see we were looking at that Meta 117. We were saying how this was a previous low, right? Previous low here, previous low here. We were saying look for that rejection off 117, and damn, was that nice yesterday. So today, look at what we're doing. We're sitting right there at 117 again. So if there's a situation where the market moves lower here on PPI, right, you might be able to nail 117 on Meta again. If market moves lower on PPI, you might be able to nail Meta again here at 117. This might be exactly what you want for another short entry. So let's watch Meta today again. I mean, why not? Let's see what it does at 117. Does it give us the same trade? It very well could. So watch Meta 117. Let's see if that sort of rejects once again today. If Meta pops over 117, then you probably want to be looking for a break and retest to the upside, right? You want to be looking for that break, that retest to the upside. If the market's strong, then maybe you can get that. That push to the upside, the break and retest of the previous rejection, turn it into support. In that case, it would be bullish. But obviously, we got to see if that is how this sets up today. So 117, big level there on Meta. I would absolutely watch that again today. NVIDIA, very, very strong move yesterday. I mean, NVIDIA just did not care about the market one bit. NVIDIA did its own thing all day, pushed higher, continued higher. Very, very strong push there on NVIDIA. It held that uptrend that we talked about. Let me go ahead and zoom out. Let me get that uptrend going for us here. From the lows, you can see we had this uptrend, and it held it pretty damn well. So you guys can see right there, we had that uptrend. It pulled back to it, right back to that 156 area right here, right here. If I zoom in, you guys will be able to see it a little bit better. Right there, right? So we had that little bit of a double bottom, boom and boom. And we held that uptrend and a very big push to the upside. It's not out of the water, by no means, right? By no means is it out of the water. Now, the reason I say that is because if I go to the 4-hour chart and I zoom out, this 170 level is definitely important. You guys can see we've had some previous support in this area at 170. It's getting sort of stuck at this 170. So we need to see it really clear that 170 level before I can get, bullish now, right? The bullish opportunity was on the pullback to the uptrend to that support. You got that nice push yesterday, but now buying it after yesterday's move right into supply is a little bit questionable. So let's see what it does at 170 today. Let's see if it can turn these previous highs into support. But just wanted to point that out, a very strong outperformance on NVIDIA yesterday. We'll see if it continues. But the next level I would watch is this 170 zone. And then if I go to the daily, if it really does get moving here, right? If the market does support this push on NVIDIA, you're probably looking at this next channel, which is around this 193 area, right? 193. And then the channel, if you can create this low around 170, then I'm looking at this channel here between 170 and 190. So let's see what happens at this 170 area. Does it reject, right? This could be a really nasty rejection if the market does come in weak. So 170 area and then 190. TSM is still in this little channel. This is going to be an interesting one. I'm waiting to see what happens here because I think there will be opportunity on TSM. You guys can see it's traded sideways since about the 15th of November. So that is about it's almost about a month now that we have traded completely sideways on TSM, done absolutely nothing. So we've held that 78. We rejected that 83. So I am definitely going to keep an eye on this one, right? Do chip stocks get strong? Does TSM give me that push? Or do chip stocks get weak? Does the market get weak? And can I trade that gap fill to the downside? Either way, I think there's opportunity on TSM. I would be watching it. I would not trade it in the middle unless you go, if you go long here and you go short here, right? That looks like it's been working very well. So if you've been doing that, congratulations. But I'm probably going to wait for the move outside of the channel. So just keep your eyes on this one. I don't want to, I don't want you to lose track of this. This will present opportunity here in the short, hopefully in the short term, but definitely once it breaks out of this channel, there will be opportunity here. So watch for that one. AMD has been a little bit weak, right? You guys saw NVIDIA basically push higher all day yesterday, and look what AMD did. AMD did nothing. So, yeah, interesting, right? Interesting to see that AMD did not move at all with that NVIDIA push. So let's see what AMD does today. You're getting stuck here at this 7150 area, right? AMD, very clear rejections around this 7150. Rejection, 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 and possible rejection here. If you get downside today on the market, this could be a very nice play, right? I would look for this. If we get a rejection on the market today, you might be able to play AMD off this 7150 area. This could be a very nice downside play if we get weakness. So watch that. If we get upside, right, look at this potential upside. You basically have nothing here. You have nothing until around 73. So just watch that. 73 right here in this gap. All right, guys. Well, let's see. I guess we'll go to the ES. Let's see what PPI has to say. No one breathe. Everyone close their eyes. Let's see what happens. Initial move maybe down? Did my charts freeze? Are my charts frozen? Oh shit, I think it's down a lot. 39.50? Oh shit, we're really down and my chart's frozen. We're getting clapped, aren't we? My chart's frozen. There we go. There it is. All right. Very nice. Gold sauce, you short? Gold sauce? Are you short? Let me pull this up. All right, so it came in at 0.3 month over month, right? So that's not good, right? That's not good. We don't want that to be going higher. 0.3, right? That is higher than the previous month. So that's not really what you want to see on PPI. You want to see this sort of be creeping lower. You're at 0.3 month over month. That is a negative reading on that side. So that's why that's happening. Let me go ahead and pull up year over year. Okay. year over year. So year over year, 7.4. So it actually it went down, but it went down less than the forecast, right? So it did go down, but it went down less than forecasted. So everything there is definitely bearish, right? That's definitely bearish. Month over month actually went up, which is actually, I think, more important here because month over month gives us an idea of short-term trends, right? If you guys know anything about analyzing trends and, if you work corporate, if anyone works corporate, your whole life is month over month, I'm sure. If you're in analytics for a corporation, month over month is that short-term trend. So you definitely are getting that short-term trend increasing, which is not good. And then you got your PPI year over year. It did come down, which is natural, right? It's expected to go down naturally year over year, probably, as we had that trend. But it is not down as much as expected. So now we can really get started. Now things get interesting. All right. So first of all, right, that would give people the implication. They would imply that CPI is going to look similar, right? That would be people's. That's what people will start to imply, right? If PPI is not looking as good, then CPI on Tuesday might not look as good either. And the market might continue to drop off that opinion today, right? You might continue to see that slip if people are thinking that, the CPI comes in similar. Yeah, let's take a look at the dollar. You can see, obviously, the dollar popped off that. That's pretty obvious. The dollar has a little, nothing crazy, but it is a pop on the dollar, right? You can see right here, big pop on the dollar. That's obviously what's going to happen when you have a higher than expected PPI or CPI. So pop on the dollar, market drop. We'll see how this plays out, right? It's still early, but you did get a very nice push to the downside. Let's go ahead and look at some of the levels now. All right, so let's look at some of these levels. So this is why we can never trust upside. I said this, this is why you can't. This little dead cat bounce was nothing over the last day, so we have to watch out for that. You are getting bought up again here, which is interesting. You're basically just getting bought up at the channel low again. Let me go to the ES, actually. So the big break, in my opinion, is going to still be 39.20. Right, we can't get too crazy. Just because we did get a PPI reading that's causing downside, we can look for that short-term opportunity, but we just have to be a little bit cautious of the demand that keeps stepping in here around this 39.20. So it is possibly, right, we might possibly get that continuation today, but let's be cautious shorting into the 39.20s, right? Because you can clearly see the demand has held there previously. Let's not let emotion, let's not let short-term movements make us forget that there could be buyers that step up down here at 39.20, right? So if we get a push down to 39.20 today, then watch for that. There's definitely some buyers stepping up here around that 39.20 area. You can see that we sort of got bid back up after breaking down that level. You guys can see we got pretty close to it here on the ES, and we sort of got bid back up here. If we go into the short-term look here, this is actually interesting. The ES is attempting to hold yesterday's lows right now. So you guys can see these yesterday's lows around 39.50. Look at what it's attempting to do right now. Now, I'm not sure it's going to do that, but that looks like the first attempt at a yesterday low hold right there. If we do flush below yesterday's lows, if we turn yesterday's lows into a rejection point, then that should be your confirmation of more downside. Right? If we turn yesterday's lows into rejections, what does that mean? Right? That means that we are turning a previous low into a rejection. That is a lower low. That is a bearish technical factor. So I would watch yesterday's lows. That would be my biggest watch today on the ES. If we turn this 39.55, 39.50 area into a rejection, which you're seeing right now, actually, you can see, look at this rejection that just came in. See, we pushed higher, rejected it. So that could be, right, that right there could be your break and retest to the downside of yesterday's lows right there. So you broke down, you retested yesterday's lows, and you turned it into a rejection point. So that is clearly the level to watch right now. 39.55, yesterday's lows, that's your level to watch. If you stay under that level, I would probably look to see if it trades back down to the bottom of the downtrend, 39.20. Okay? NASDAQ, Yesterday's lows. Let's see where we're looking at on that. So we're basically sitting right at yesterday's lows as well, right around this 11.6. Look at what it's doing right at 11.6. So that's going to be interesting, right? This 11.6 is still battling. It's a battle here at 11.6, and it has been for the last 2 days, and it still is even after PPI. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting day. It's going to be an interesting day. This is going to be a day you better wait. You better wait to see what happens at market open. If you get too aggressive today at the market open without waiting for confirmation, it could be ugly. So this is interesting, right? Look at how we're trying to hold this 11.6. If to go short, I'm going to need to see some real legit rejections at 11.6 here. We're starting to see it, right? I see it. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. We're starting to see it, which is good. I would like to be a little bit more confident on it, but I definitely want to see this 11.6 area turn into a rejection play, right? If I can get this 11.6 area right here, you see all this 11.6 area? You guys can see previous rejections here, previous rejection here, previous rejections here into support yesterday. If I can see something real solid there, then I like it. Something real solid at 11.6 right here. If I can get that today, then I'll look for the downside. I do like what I'm seeing here, but we'll have to see what the market open looks like. All right, last one we'll go into is the Dow. Pretty much perfect. Look, everything's just holding below yesterday's lows. That's going to be your watch today, guys. That's going to be the middle of your seesaw today. Yesterday's lows. All right, look at what the Dow's doing. Yesterday's lows holding right below it. Look at that perfect rejection off yesterday's lows. So that's going to be my overview for you here on the futures. Watch the previous day lows. That's what I would tell you. SPY, we'll go to SPY because everyone wants to always look at the SPY, even though it's the same thing as the ES. Yesterday's lows area right around here, 395. That's what I would watch. 395. It's the same exact thing as the ES, guys. Yesterday's lows. SPY, QQQ, everything. Yesterday's lows. That's what I would watch. All right. Tesla. Let's relook at it. Not much movement there, right? You guys can see right here. Really not much. Just gave up the pre-market level. I would still watch the same thing we talked about. The channel low here, around 170. Keep an eye on that. Let's go through. Let's just go through some of these names. Let's go to Meta because I want to see how 170. Ooh, baby. Yeah. Look at that. All right, definitely watching 117 again today on Meta. If we can get that breakdown, right, this could be a nice little bear flag here. It really could, right? You guys can see a little bit of an uptrend into that rejection point. This could be a nasty little bear flag here. I would watch that. That's something I'm definitely going to watch today. Netflix has been strong, but hey, if it rejects up here at these highs, if the market moves lower, if we get this 320 rejection to step in, right, you could possibly try to play that to the downside, right? You got this previous rejection up here around 320. You can see it's starting to come in again. So, yeah, watch that 320 on Netflix. Apple. Yeah, so Apple, a little bit of a pop higher, but obviously moving lower. But just be careful, right? The big short opportunities is going to be breaks of these channel lows, guys, right? If you get a break of this 140.50, then that's your big opportunity there. But you got to be a little bit cautious shorting into this low, of course. But just sort of keep an eye on that market. I'm trying to think around to what I found the most opportunity on today. Google, I think I like this one. I've been watching this one. Look at this break of the down. See, this is where opportunity steps in, guys. Right here. This is where opportunity steps in. Look at what Google's doing. All right, this is very important. So Google broke this channel low around 94, right? This is a very important crack right here on Google. So look at where we're now sitting on Google. If I zoom out, if I go to the 90-day, right, look at where we're sitting on Google. We're sitting in no man's land now. So you got just pretty much a straight up move here on Google that we are now sitting in, right? And that's a little bit of no man's land. So watch out for Google here to the downside. If this thing stays under this previous low, you can see we're sort of getting into I'm sure, without even checking, I'm sure this is a very low volume area on Google. If I go to the 30-minute chart, We can pull up the volume profile, and I'm pretty positive that it's going to show us the low volume down below there. Yeah, so you can see volume sort of stacked up here around 94, and it starts to get pretty weak under here. So watch under that 94 area on Google. If the market does continue, that's something I would watch. We can also check out AMD. Yeah, AMD looks good as well, right? Look at this AMD rejection. You guys can see right here. You had that 71 level on AMD. This is what we just talked about before PPI. Look at that play. Unfortunately, it's sort of down already. So I'm not sure how much you want to chase this, but if the market does continue lower today, right, you might be able to catch some of this. And if it does break that 68 level, right, you might be able to catch some of that, even this slip under these lows as well. So watch for that one on AMD. Let's go to Shopify real quick. Shopify, I was watching this uptrend. It still is intact, but if Shopify breaks this uptrend, I would be sort of watching this one as well. If Shopify starts to break this uptrend, you might be able to play that downside. If it continues to hold it, just keep an eye on this uptrend, right? You guys can see this is a 4-hour chart since around October 10th. You can see we've been in this uptrend, so I would watch this one. This could definitely present some opportunity. If I go to if I zoom out, you could see this could possibly be, right, a rejection of these previous highs right in this general area. You sort of map your zone out here around that 44. And if we start to, if we put in a double top here, this top here, if we double top there on Shopify and break this uptrend, you could be in for some nice plays here, right? You could definitely see some nice play here. So I would watch that one. Trying to go just sort of put in the memory of some levels I've been watching. Boeing sort of still holding up. Home Depot still holding that 316. Costco at earnings. Costco under 485 is interesting. Let's go to Microsoft. Is that under 240? No. So Microsoft, the big opportunity on Microsoft is going to be under 240, but I don't see that happening yet. So I don't really like Microsoft here, right? You need to get this thing under 240. So under 240 would be where I'd want to see like something like this. This would be your next big play on Microsoft if you can get something like that, right? So watch that on Microsoft, 240 break. We'll go to the energy names. Energy names, it's sitting back at that 85 level, right? So energy came right back to that 85 retest level. I'm still interested in watching this. I would still watch this. I know it was a little bit of an underperformer yesterday, but you guys can see previous highs. If this 85 can hold this support here, I would sort of keep an eye on that energy name. There's possibly a move here if energy can stay strong. So watch 85 on XLE. That's something I would watch out for. All right. So I think the most important thing you guys can watch today, right, besides individual stocks, is this NASDAQ and ES. You have to see how this reacts to the previous day lows. Right now, you can clearly see the rejections coming in at previous day lows. This is as clean as it can get as of right now. So you can see we got the PPI reaction. We pushed up. This is yesterday's lows on the NASDAQ, and this is a very key 11.6 level. If we stay under 11.6, I would have a bearish bias to the downside today. If we get back over 11.6 and you see this turn into support, you could possibly try to flip your bias intraday for some type of a short-term move, right? But short-term, right? Keyword is short-term. If we stay under 11.6, then I would look for the downside continuation on the NASDAQ. And on the ES, if we stay under 39.55, I would look for the continuation, right? You can see right here, 39.55. That is the previous day lows. If you turn those into rejection points, that is very, very important, right? If you stay under yesterday's lows at 39.55, that is what the market is, it's trying to tell you to look for bullish or bearish, right? As long as it stays below 39.55. So, let's pull up the stocks that you guys want to look at today. Let's see what you guys got in there. You can see the market is sort of messing around. It's trying to get back to that yesterday low again. So this is going to be very important here, right here. It's going to be very important to see what happens at this yesterday low. All right, let me pull up the ticker form for you guys to take a look at what you want to look at, and then I got to jump out of here a little bit early because I got to post some of the levels for you guys in the Discord. So today, oh man. All right, we looked at Tesla. We looked at Meta. All right, we're going to have to go real quick here, guys. I'm not going to be able to give you, fortunately, not able to give you the most in-depth analysis here. But Target, let's go real quick. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. Target, I would just be, it's pretty much stuck here. I would say watch for this 152 low area. If you break that, maybe continuation, but right now looks pretty damn stuck. Yeah, let's go TSM. TSM, watch for that channel high rejection. Adobe, watch for the hold here of 234. It's the same exact thing. This has earnings, of course. I'm skipping that. Good luck on earnings. John Deere. John Deere's been getting stuck at this 445. You can see that's that previous high. So if you can get some Dow weakness, you might be able to play this rejection of 445, but you need that Dow weakness to step in. Caterpillar, you guys can see sort of been holding at this previous high as well. You need the Dow weakness. I said the same thing yesterday. You need Dow weakness. Merck still is going. Why is Merck going? Healthcare is still hot. So AbbVie, right? UNH, Merck, healthcare is the hot sector. Yeah, I don't know what you want me to talk. It's just going up. You can either chase it or you can wait for a pullback. Dow, DOW, rejection of 53 looks really nice. Watch for that rejection to come in. Google, talked about that one. Watch for the flush under 94. That could definitely cause continuation if the market stays lower today. Citibank, you just got to watch XLF. XLF rejected that triple top. I would look for banks to continue lower if it continues to drop that, reject that triple top. Walmart, look for the retest of this 146. That would be my long entry off 146. It probably will pull back there if the XLP rejects this triple top. XLP at a triple top as well. Finally, Amazon, the weakest stock probably on the market. Not really, but on the tech sector, I would just watch this channel low. If Google or if Amazon drops this channel low at 85, 85.80, right, then I would look for that continuation. So, guys, my top watch today is Meta 117 rejection. That's going to be, once again, my top watch here. If Meta can reject 117 again, I'll look for it. And really, to be quite honest, it's going to be Meta. It's going to be AMD off of this 72. And more than anything, you have to wait to see what the market does at yesterday's lows. You cannot get into a trade until you have some type of confirmation of whether yesterday's lows is going to act as a rejection point. If you get in here too early and this thing pops over yesterday's lows and you go short before understanding whether the market is really going to try to stay under this, maybe some lower highs, maybe some pretty clear slippage, some break and retests, right? Maybe a retest of this previous low, turn that into a rejection, start to get some confirmation. That's what you have to wait for today, right? Please wait for that. Yesterday's lows, NASDAQ and ES, they are sitting right at them right now. You need to see whether that drops. If it drops off the yesterday low, then I would look for continuation to the downside. If we pop over this yesterday low, you might try to make up a little bit of this downside move. Right? It's very possible for this market to try to squeeze to make up some of this downside move. You can see right now it's trying to squeeze over the previous day low. So that's going to be everything. Best of luck today. If you're new to trading, you might want to take this day off because it might try to fake you out a little bit, right? It might try to mess around at this previous day low. Just be careful. Watch that previous day low. I'm going to say that again and again. Sorry, I keep saying it, but that's what you have to watch. All right? If you guys enjoyed the stream, press the like button, please. We got 1,600 people in here. Holy crap. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. These days are a little bit jumpy. So my presentation skills on a day like today are not the best because there's so much going on. At the same time, I'm trying to give you guys ideas. If you want to get, in-depth analysis intraday, you check out the Discord down below. That's where we really will dive into this intraday and sort of watch this as this all unfolds. We'll get a better look at it Monday after everything sort of settles out. And then get ready for PPI, get ready for CPI, get ready for Jerome Powell. It's going to be an interesting next week. Best of luck today. Be safe out there. It's Friday, guys. It's Friday. If you had a good week, go outside. Really, go watch some World Cup, right? Maybe you try to trade something. If you're not really feeling it, Go watch the World Cup. Go outside. It's Friday. Don't ruin your weekend by doing something stupid on a day like today. So let's see what happens. But this is going to be an interesting day, right? This is going to be a difficult day. It's going to be It's going to be volatile. It's the clear direction. You're going to have to wait for it, right? You're going to have to wait for it. So let's see what happens. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Go G-Men. And I will see you guys on Monday. Peace out.